Hey friends, happy Thursday. This is Facebook Live. It's great to be back with you. Last week I was in Aurora, Colorado, so my Facebook Live was not so live, but I didn't want to leave you hanging. So I made a video in advance and did Money, a Love Story, which is such a good book. I hope you guys all had a chance to read it. And this week I'm doing another amazing book, which is Dotcom Secrets by Russell Brunson. And if you haven't read it, this book is awesome at helping you understand funnels online, because funnels is one of those terms we hear a lot, but we're not always exactly sure what it is or how to build one. Or maybe we've built one and it's not working, or we want it to work better. So for that reason, I wanted to share with you one of my best secrets, which is Dotcom Secrets. I read this book about a year ago, and I've recommended it to so many people. And it really helped me and my team get on the same page about our marketing. It has helped tons of entrepreneurs figure out what is the right sequence to attract the perfect clients who want to pay what you want to charge, who are excited to be part of your universe, and to consistently get leads that you can then convert into clients and customers. Who doesn't want that? Anyway, I hope you guys are doing great today, this Thursday afternoon. Good to see a few names I know there. Hey, Judd. Hey, Stacy, welcome. So the format of these Facebook Lives, if this is the first one that you're joining me for, is that I try to explain a business or a mindset book every week in the time it takes to take a shot. Because you're busy, you don't have time to read all these books. So I'm reading them for you and explaining them in about the time it takes to take a shot. So now is time to take that shot. I never know what the shot is I'm taking. We'll find out. I see Laura looking down there trying not to laugh, so that makes me very nervous about what's in the glass. All right, here he goes. Here goes. This one is to my son Emmett, who just won at his soccer nationals. That's last week. That's where I was. His soccer team is now #1 in the country. It was so fun to be there and watch him have that win. So this is to Emmett and to all of you for your successes. L'chaim. Oh my goodness, that was just straight up alcohol with like the tiniest bit of something green in it. Vodka and kale juice? No, she says no. All right. Gin. Oh, thanks, honey. Gin and kale. You gave me vodka and kale once. That was gross enough. Now we're doing gin and kale. All right, here we go. Dotcom Secrets. So this book is awesome for figuring out how to attract the right clients online. And he explains 3 things I'm going to tell you about today. There's way more value in this than the 3 things I'm going to teach you, but I only have time for 3. So those 3 are how to have the right, what he calls value ladder. And this is a value ladder I'm going to explain in a minute. I know it's very high tech. See if you can keep up with me. And then he also explains how to set up an awesome funnel. And I'm going to explain a funnel. And the third thing he's really, really good at is helping you understand the difference between the 3 types of traffic that you can get on the internet. So I'm going to get to that too. So let's start with the value ladder. So when you're selling online, and let's face it, no matter what industry we're in now, we're all selling online. Even if you're in a B2B business, you want to get someone who's at the business that you're selling to engage with you about your products and services. What better way to do that than have them buy some slightly less expensive product for you just to get them in the door and see how awesome you are and what amazing value you bring to the table. So the way Russell explains that is it's kind of like a value ladder. And here's an example he gave with a dentist, because we've all been to the dentist, right? This is easy to understand. I'm doing Instagram too, so let me show the Instagram folks the value ladder for the dentist. So you go to the dentist for a regular cleaning, right? And that doesn't cost very much money. In fact, it might even be free. You might have health insurance covering it, or you're paying, $50, $60 for that cleaning. But while he's there, Russell was actually telling about him being in the dentist chair. So while he's at the dentist says, hey, your teeth look a little yellow. Do you want to leave them yellow like that? Or would you like to have whiter teeth? So the next thing you know, Russell is buying whitening. And so he's spending maybe, I don't know, $90, a little more than it was for the cleaning. Well, then the dentist says something about his teeth having shifted. Did you ever wear braces, he says? And Russell's like, oh yeah, I did wear braces as a kid. Well, your bottom teeth are shifting. But if I get you this retainer, they will stop shifting, and then you will avoid having to wear braces again as an adult. Who wants that? So Russell's like, okay, I'll take the retainer. And now he spent even more money. And then if the dentist is really selling hard, he might be like, oh, you know, that tiny overlap of your teeth, like I have one right there. Like my teeth are not perfectly aligned, even though I did Invisalign. So I'm like a perfect target customer for this dentist. He could be like, hey, I can align those teeth. And look, I paid like $3,500 for that Invisalign. I do not want to do that again. So if he was like, for $300, I could realign that and do some cosmetic dentistry, I might take him up on that. Russell said no, but I might have said yes. So you can see how the dentist is taking the client through this value ladder until he's getting to the big ticket items, which are, you know, doing Invisalign or maybe even some kind of, cosmetic dentistry that would cost thousands of dollars. All of this can be applied to your business. How can you come up with an intro offering, like the cleaning at the dentist, right? We can all relate to that, where someone can sample what you're like. Because when that dentist is doing the cleaning, you're paying attention to, like, does he have good bedside manner? Does it hurt? Is he like poking at your gums with that little pointy thing and it feels horrible and you're like, I just want to get out of here? Or are you like, hey, this guy is good, or this woman, by the way, could be a woman dentist. I've had an awesome woman dentist for years. And do I want to trust them with whatever else I need done? So how can you apply that to your business? And this is one of the things we work on in Masterclass, is helping women figure out what is that intro product or service that you can sell so that people can get to know you and then keep buying from you as you offer them more and more products and services. So that's the first thing he talks about. And you can build all of this online so that people can find your, the equivalent of your teeth cleaning online, and then the equivalent of your whitening, and the equivalent of your retainer, and your cosmetic work, all online. The second thing to understand is your funnel. So this is a funnel for any business where you could look at who's coming in the top. Is, thousands, maybe when you're, really well known, maybe millions of people, right, coming into your funnel through things like social media, your blog, maybe speaking engagements, and your website. That's called top of the funnel. And then your goal is to keep moving them down the funnel until they get to the big ticket items. This works in conjunction with your value ladder, because you want to sell more of this stuff, right? The high dollar stuff at the end of the ladder. So what Russell teaches you how to do is create offerings that move people down this funnel. Because while you might only need hundreds of clients, whatever you call them, to meet your revenue goals, you actually have to engage thousands, if not millions of people to get to those hundreds of clients. And the sooner you start becoming really proactive around this, the better it's going to go for you. I know that for my business, for $1 Million Women Masterclass, in the early days, the women who signed up for Masterclass were just women I met at speaking engagements, or who'd read my book, or who I met in a haphazard fashion in networking. And once we got really clear on our funnel and how we were going to engage with thousands of women to find the hundreds of women who then sign up for Masterclass, our business took off. So I want the same thing to happen for you. So I said I was going to teach you 3 things. We did the value ladder, right? How to create a relatively low price item that then helps people graduate to higher and higher priced items with you, and how to set up a funnel. We didn't really teach you how to set it up, but to be starting to think about your business as a funnel so you can capture online traffic and start converting it more and more into paid clients and customers. The third thing I want to teach you, hey Annabella, is about traffic you control, traffic you don't control, and traffic you own. So Russell has these great little pictures throughout the book. He's actually a pretty cool guy because he's a total geek nerd, which I really like, because I'm like a little bit of a geek in my own right. Like, I love Excel spreadsheets and I love scaling businesses. I just really get off on all that. And Russell gets off on, I'll show you what he gets off on. Russell gets off on junk mail, for real. He was really into junk mail as a kid. And he got fascinated with, how do people sell things through, not really junk mail, it's called direct mail. And if any of you are as ancient as I am, you remember when all selling happened through this letters that you opened up in your mailbox that were trying to sell you stuff, and they actually worked really well. Well, that doesn't work so well anymore because snail mail is kind of dying. But there's an online equivalent to that, and that's what he teaches you. The new way of getting into people's inboxes, it might not be their mailboxes, it's their inboxes, is having a really clear strategy, and he can teach you those tools. So one thing he does is do these handy little drawings like this. So this is what he teaches you about traffic you own, traffic you control, and traffic you don't control. So I'm going to help you understand the difference between those three. And again, read the book because there's just so much in here that can help you start converting more of your potential clients and customers into ideal clients and customers, which is what we want. So the main thing he wants you to focus on is your list. And I'm sure you've heard this before, the importance of cultivating your list, because that's the only traffic you really own. And this is a term that's really worth embracing because you and your team can now start divvying up everybody who comes into your universe in terms of traffic you own and traffic you don't own. So traffic you own is people who are on your mailing list. It's that simple. Meaning, let's say you have a new offer or you want to reach people and tell them you've got this new great, event coming up, you can send that to traffic you own. That is people who have opted in to your newsletter list, and you want to spend all your time and energy growing that. I know that when I went and did a lot of speaking engagements after I wrote $1 Million Women, I always brought this sign-up sheet. It was old school, it was on a clipboard, it was printed out with a pen stuck to it, but I collected all the email addresses of everybody in the audience. And some of you listening today might have been in that audience. What did that mean? That meant I could go back, give that to my virtual assistant, have her enter all those names into my mailing list because it said on the sign-up sheet, you'll now be on Julia's mailing list. And that becomes traffic I own. And then I can sell my products and services or just invite people to things I'm doing. So that's traffic you own. The second thing is traffic you don't own or don't control, to use Russell's language. So that's traffic that you have to buy, like through Google. Maybe you're doing SEM, search engine marketing, or maybe you're buying Facebook ads. That means you're directing traffic to you, but you don't own that traffic. Facebook owns that traffic, or Google owns that traffic, and you're just directing it to you. So he really emphasizes the importance of turning that traffic that you can guide or control but not own into traffic you own. And he teaches you how to create what he calls a squeeze page, which is a very compelling one page that takes everybody coming in through the traffic that you control but don't own and turning them into traffic you own by getting them to give you their email address. Now, how do you do that? You got to give them something of value. And he teaches you how to do that too, so that you can offer something up that's going to make people not only want to stay engaged with you, but give you their email address, which is really the holy grail these days. I don't know about you, but I get on so many websites, I'm on so many mailing lists where they want my email address. That started to be the thing that I don't want to give out anymore, because it's like, who can read all those newsletters? Who can keep up with all that? So we've got to get more and more clever and have more and more compelling offers to get people to give us their emails and become traffic we own. That's what we want. All right, so those are the three things that I'm going to teach you today, but there's so many more amazing tips in this book, including, see, Laura, that's your fault. That was the gin and kale. I can't even talk anymore. You guys try to do this after taking a shot. That's not that easy. So the thing that he also talks about that I would highly recommend you read is how to create what he calls the attractive persona. So he says, sure, you're a business owner. Sure, you don't want to be, Kim Kardashian. You're not looking to be this like public figure, but you do want to get really clear on what is your story that's going to attract the right customers to you. And he gives the example that when he talks a lot about his background as wrestling, like he did a bunch of wrestling in college, he gets a lot of athletes signing up for his programs. But when he talks about the difficulties that he and his wife had getting pregnant, their fertility issues, then he attracts more like moms and married women. So depending what you talk about on your website, whether it's the copy or videos you make, you're going to attract a certain kind of customer. And you don't want that to be haphazard, right? You want to be super intentional about that. So reading this book, he gives you a lot of tips for defining what is your attractive persona. What stories can you tell to help people understand you? When is it time to go vulnerable and share things that actually didn't work? Because, in this era of social media, when everybody's like bright and shiny and doing these amazing things and in Hawaii and looking so perfect and gorgeous, we're all kind of sick of that. And people want to know, like, what's the real you? I know that for me, it was very hard to share some of the things that went wrong at Little Pim, my language teaching company. My instinct was to only talk about what went right. And when I was reviewing this book before today so I could teach it to you, I remembered that it was really from Russell, so thanks Russell, or Russ if you go by Russ, who reminded me that nobody wants to learn from perfect people, right? You're not perfect, I'm not perfect, we're sick of perfect people. What we want is people who've been through tough times just like we have and found a way through. So he was part of what encouraged me to share this really difficult story about a time at Little Pim when we almost fell flat on our face. I had not been paying enough attention to the finances, and it turns out that we were running out of cash. It was a super scary time. I called it Fateful Friday. And those of you who've taken masterclass with me know the whole story because I shared it in our finance module. And I shared it not because I'm eager to talk about that time, because that was actually one of the lowest points of my entire 9 years of running Little Pim, but because so many women are in the same position. Maybe men too, but I mainly work with women. And that position is kind of putting your head in the sand like an ostrich and not wanting to look at the finances. Like, hopefully the finances will just sort themselves out and I won't have to look at my P&L. I don't have to look at the cash flow. I don't have to do cash planning because I don't like that part. I just want someone else to do it. That's how I was at Little Pim. And that's why we got into this mess that I now call Fateful Friday, where I wasn't paying close enough attention to the finances. And in retrospect, I'm glad it happened because it's part of what inspired me to create $1 Million Women Masterclass, because I figured, hey, I went to Yale. I have a long history behind me of success in business. I was a fundraiser for 5 years. If I wasn't good at my finances, imagine the millions of other women who felt the same way. And I have to say, having launched Masterclass, I've now found out that was not just a hunch. There are thousands of women who are amazing at marketing, creating products, strategy, doing so many things that other people struggle with, but just not good at the finances. And that's where I was too. So thanks, Russ, for encouraging me. Russ, we're on Russ terms by now because I've been talking for like 15 minutes. So Russ is like my best friend now. So thanks, Russ, for encouraging me to share that and reminding me that for the attractive persona to work, you don't want to just share the bright, shiny sides of who you are. You also want to share the vulnerable sides, the time that you fell flat on your face, and help your clients realize that you're just a person like them who found a way through the jungle. And you're going to share which machete you used to hack through it and what you used to get back up when you fell down. So those are some of the thoughts that I have for you today on Dotcom Secrets. I'm really happy that you could join me for this little Facebook Live. I love doing this. Every other week, I do a mindset book or a business book. So this was Business Book Week. Next week is Mindset Book Week. If you have one that you want me to do, please feel free to write it into the chat. Carol, I had vodka last time. Carol's like, try vodka next time. I have to say gin and kale is slightly better than vodka and kale. So those of you who are looking for that perfect mix of vitamins and alcohol, I say go for the gin and kale. My favorite, Henrik's. They did not pay me to say that, but Henrik's is really, really great gin. So anyway, love you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. You are the reason that I want to help women scale up their businesses. I was in the trenches. I spent 9 years building Little Pim up into a multi-million-dollar business. Well, it took about 6 years to get there, and then another 4 years to continue to grow it. And I want you to get there so much faster and have fewer belly flops along the way. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time when we do a mindset book. If there's one you want me to do, write it in, and I will certainly consider teaching that one next time. Have an awesome afternoon, and stay brave. Bye.